Welcome to Reckless Paradise, everyone. I am your host, Marissa. I'm here with my co-host, Dystro. Say hi.
Hello, everyone.
Well. Happy Sunday, everyone. I hope everybody had a really good weekend. I actually had a really good one. Um, I am officially off of antibiotics now. I'm completely healed
Woo!
from my infection. Yay, cough clap, cough clap.
Golf clap, golf clap, golf clap.
Oh man. Anyways, welcome to the show, everyone. Glad you're here. Um, Jeez, I feel like the days are just going by quick. Like the weekend, like it just went by in the blink of an eye. I really thought today was like Saturday still. Oh, frick. But yeah. So a couple things before we get started with tonight's topic. Um, as you guys, actually, I don't think I mentioned this to you guys. In August, I believe right in the middle of August, I'm going to be heading over to Canada for a whole week, and I will be, staying with my aunt some nights, and then going to Ken's house. If you guys remember Ken's, I'll be going to his house some nights as well. That week we will still be posting because we are going to record ahead of time. So there will hopefully be no interruptions with the schedule. I'm going to try out the new Premiere feature for YouTube, I guess, where it will literally upload it on a certain day and a certain time that I tell it to. It'll be released as like a live stream kind of thing, and then I guess it'll upload after it's done. I don't know. Hopefully it works. I'm praying. Because if it doesn't work while I'm over there, there's nothing I can do because I'm not taking my laptop with me, which is what I used to upload. So pray for me, y'all. You still there, Dystro? Oh, I lost Dystro. Fuck. But anyway, so yeah, we will still be uploading during that week. I don't remember what week it is. I will have to look, and I'll tell you guys in the next episode we do which week I'm talking about. But yeah, so hopefully there'll be no interruptions with the schedule. Still gonna be Thursdays and Sundays as per usual, as we usually do. Oh, I think I hear Dystro's background. Is that you, my bro? Oh, I do not. I do not hear him. Okay, so I'm gonna get into the episode, and if he comes back, we can just continue. So, oh, there he is. You there, man? What happened, brother?
It's like, it's like my phone is just being a freaking dickhead right now
Piece
or
of
something.
shit. Yeah. It's okay. It's all good. I was just basically telling everybody about the whole situation for August. So,
But yeah, I heard it.
okay.
Uh,
So let's. Oh, you good?
I, I was just gonna talk about the premiere situation just a little bit more.
Go
So
ahead.
the premiere option that we're gonna do, it's like yeah, like you said, like it's kind of like a live stream sort of thing. But then like when it ends, it'll upload it. So like when we do the recording, like back to back sort of thing, um the second one that we do for when you're in Canada for that week, as soon as you like premiere it and stuff like that, like as soon as it goes live and when it finishes, like it will upload to the channel. So I would just have to uh put it on the
Share it.
Reddit.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's good. That's a good option to use for like when we're like out of state or something. So
Yeah. In my case, out of state, out of the fucking country.
like if I had like went to Tennessee for like a few days or something, like if I couldn't like get to do recording or something, like I mean I would still be able to record, but like if you were like if you had went somewhere different for like a few days or something, we would like batch record and then just premiere it and then stuff like that. So
Right. But yeah, if anything else comes up, this summer for plans where we need to record early, I'll let you know, and I'll let the world know, that we're gonna have to record early and try to put a premiere or whatever. So yeah, hopefully this works. I will explain more when the time gets closer. It's a whole month away. I've got a whole month to plan this out. So I will explain as time gets closer. But without further ado, let's get into tonight's episode. So tonight we're doing Let's Talk 90s grunge rock groups. Now, there's probably some folks out there that don't know what the term grunge classifies as. Um, Grunge is basically just a style of rock music that's characterized by, excuse me, that's characterized by a really lazy vocal delivery, but also kind of like a really, I don't know if I'd say extreme guitar sound. Let's just say a very unique guitar sound.
Like
Um,
mellow sort of thing.
like kind of like mellow in some aspects, I guess we could put it. But actually I found out today there's actually subgenres for grunge rock. Well, as I've told you guys before, a lot of these genres have subgenres. So grunge has three that I know of that I noted in my notes right here. Um, but apparently Christian grunge exists. Uh, I didn't know that. It's just grunge music that's surrounding the Christian religion. That's kind of not what I was expecting. Like, I didn't know that exists. So, learn something new every day on the show. There's also post grunge, which is grunge that has an abrasive, like, excuse me, not an abrasive, a less abrasive and intense tone than traditional grunge music would. I meant to write down here what post grunge is considered, like which groups are considered to be post grunge. Let me look it up. Um, I guess Foo Fighters is considered post grunge, which I can see that. I consider them mainstream rock. Like that's kind of like my classification of the group. They're considered post grunge. I can see how that works though. I can kind of see that. So that's post grunge, and then there's alt grunge, which is grunge music produced by performers outside of the musical mainstream. Like, in my opinion, the Pixies. The Pixies have always talked about on this show and how they're kind of an alternative group, but I didn't know they were grunge at all. I just knew they were from the 90s. So I'm kind of surprised that when I looked it up, they're considered alt grunge. And it's kind of funny because, like I said, I'd always considered to be an alternative rock group. Freaking amazing group, by the way. So
Yeah.
now that I've kind of given a little bit of an insight as to what we're going to be talking about, what kind of bands we're looking at here, I guess we can get into it. So, Dystro, I guess we'll just go back and forth. Name one group that is a 90s grunge group that we should discuss on this show.
It's like, should we start with heavy hitters or should we just start with like lesser known ones and then work our way up to the heavy
Start
hitters?
anywhere. Start anywhere on the spectrum. I'm going all over the place. We're going to Nashville. We're going to Nebraska. I don't know.
Nashville.
I don't fucking know. I just said a state. I just said a city and a state.
We're going to Nashville.
I meant to say Tennessee.
We're going to Louisville, Kentucky.
We're going to Albany, New York.
We're going to Albany.
Oh fuck.
Let's go with Soundgarden. Why not?
Oh, sweet. Now, Soundgarden, obviously, the lead singer was Chris Cornell, and by the way, Chris Cornell also voiced another group known as Audioslave. I've listened to both Soundgarden and Audioslave, just over the course of a few years. My God, like it's hard to tell them apart, in my opinion. Like I listened to like two songs, one by Soundgarden, one by Audioslave. I can't tell the difference. Like I can't tell which one's by Audioslave, which one's by Soundgarden. Oh man, Soundgarden's a really good group. What was the freaking album though that they just freaking talked about on the show? Oh, what was it?
Black Hole Sun.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of. I like the music video of that, by the way.
God, that was trippy.
It was it was like a whole ass trip. As a trip. It sucks that Chris Cornell passed away in 2017 due to suicide. It sucks. Just even remembering that. I didn't know who Chris Cornell was when he had passed. I didn't know who Soundgarden was when he passed. I didn't know who Audioslave was. I didn't know who Temple of the Dog was, which we'll get to, because he was in Temple of the Dog as well. I had no idea who these groups were until like years after he passed. I got into a whole phase, we'll call it, where I was listening to a lot of grunge stuff. And Soundgarden and Audioslave were two groups that I was listening to a lot. And I was like, oh, that's Chris Cornell. Like, that's the guy that passed away a few years ago. My God, he does have a voice. he definitely his both groups, Audio Slave and Soundgarden, both groups have definitely set a lot of standards for what rock and grunge is supposed to be, and it's definitely influenced a lot of people. Um, is there any other songs by Soundgarden that we could probably mention here that people should probably listen to?
I mean, besides Black Hole Sun, Spoon Man is one that I've listened
Oh,
to.
Spoon Man!
Spoon Man.
I love that song. My dad thought it was called Snowman. I'm like, no, it's Spoon Man.
Man.
Spoon
Just comes
Man.
out during Christmas time every year.
Oh man, I love that song.
um,
Um, is there any other ones?
oh God, like besides Black Hole Sun and Spoon Man, like that's like the only two that I can just remember off
The
the top of my
problem is I'm thinking of freaking Audio Slave songs like "Be
head.
Yourself" or something like that. Oh yeah, "Fell on Black Days." I forgot about that song. That's a really dark song, and
It's
I
like
hear it like
it's
all
kind of
the
like
time.
with, but it's like with every like rock band or grunge band or like any kind of like genre, there's always a or dark song in every album. There's like at least like one or two.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I'm not gonna go back to Billy Town because like I read as soon as you said there's always a dark song in an album, I thought of Billy Town because there's like a couple in my head, but I'm not gonna go to that. To talk about grunge. By the way, if you haven't seen Let's Talk Billy Talent, go check it out. Especially if you want to know who the hell my favorite group is and what they're all about. Billy Talent's like number one in my life. Anyways, back to grunge. Um, obviously, you can't have grunge without Pearl Jam. Obviously not. I love Pearl Jam so much. I love Eddie Vedder. Like I love his solo music. I've talked about his solo music here before. I think it was about the time I did the most anticipated music releases of this year. I talked about Eddie Vedder. He just released an album, a solo album back in February. And Brother the Cloud is one of the hit singles. I love that song. Perfect. Just a freaking masterpiece. um, Pearl Jam, man, they have been around for a long time, since the 90's, I believe. Like we were talking about. What was I gonna say? But yeah, this group is another one of those founding fathers of grunge, we'll call it. I guess we could call it that. They really paved the way for a lot of these other grunge groups. I feel like we don't have many grunge groups anymore in 2022. Like, is that just me? Like, am I the only one that thinks that?
I think that too.
It
Sometimes
kind of just died off.
it's like like when like 2000s hit, it's just like it's hard rock, heavy metal, and then it's just like grunge just kind of like fizzled out into the ether and just just never talked about again.
Yeah, so I guess it was kind of like in its like blossoming phase in the 90's. Like we had all these groups like Pearl Jam and Soundgarden and all these other ones we're going to get to. Now, Pearl Jam, they did a song called Jeremy. That was one of their first songs they released ever. And it's actually about it's based off of real events. Shit, I don't know if I should talk about it because I didn't put a trigger warning on this video.
Let's just say it was a very triggering subject.
Very, very triggering.
And it just like it would just bring a tear to my eye just to like think about like the trauma that 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 class had went through and that teacher went through that day. It's like that's just so like it's just I'm not going to talk about it because it's like it's just going to take me off on a tangent sort of thing. So it's like but yeah, like that and like Alive is another good one from them on that exact same album that came out in like 91.
Yeah, I want to get the album called 10. That's like one of their first albums. But anyways, back to Jeremy before we continue with the other songs. If you really actually want to know what that song is about, like the background of the song, please go Google it or watch something. There's stuff on YouTube you could probably find. Just type in Jeremy by Pearl Jam, and then type in background story. Pretty dark, to say the least. And Pearl Jam, especially Eddie Vedder, got a lot of backlash because some of the lyrics were not true based off of real life events. So if you guys are interested in learning about the song Jeremy by Pearl Jam, please go look it up. It's really interesting, in my opinion, to find that out. It makes me kind of like the song more. It makes you want to listen to it in deeper levels, like listen to the lyrics really well. But yeah, go check it out. So Pearl Jam, Alive, Even Flow, Black. Black is a really dark song as well. It has to do with struggling to get over a relationship, someone who's moved on, clearly. And which I can kind of relate to dark relationship songs like that because I've been through, which makes me love music a lot more. Black's a good one. There was also another one they had just released a few years ago called Quick Escape. I love that song. I found it on Spotify. And it still sounds like Pearl Jam with just more of like a modern twist to it. I like it. That might actually be the video I put at the end of this video. So that will be the song of the episode, I guess. I'll put Quick Escape by Pearl Jam at the end of the video if you guys want to check it out. Really, really good stuff. And it's crazy that Eddie Vedder is still alive and kicking, considering how many of these grunge rockers have passed away, which we will get to further on in the video. But yeah, props to Eddie Vedder. He has been through some shit, losing a whole bunch of his buddies, who were in other groups, like Chris. We're gonna get into some Alice in Chains and Nirvana in a moment. But yeah, I love Pearl. For a while, the album cover was my background picture on my Xbox. So, but yeah, next group, Dystro.
Let's talk about Temple of the Dog, I guess.
Yes. So
if
this group I know very, yeah, it's right at the top of the list. This group I know very briefly. I just discovered them last year, believe it or not, just from listening to Show. And I didn't know Eddie Vedder's also made some guest vocal appearances as well in certain songs. Man, I actually kind of like this group, but this is like another group I need to really get into more and explore a little bit. They're known as a supergroup, and as you know, I've talked about supergroups before on this podcast, like the Anyway Gang. They are a supergroup with the Sam Roberts band member Sam Roberts, and I think there's a few other members. But yeah, this is a supergroup. Eddie Vedder has played some key roles in this group. Let's see, what else am I looking for? Lead singer of the bands Malfunction and Mother Love Bone, which I've never heard of these groups. So it's basically just a big old super group of different people from different groups, and I like it. You get a singer from this group and a guitarist from this group and pluck a drummer from this group and put them all together. It's like, oh, it's like freaking masterpiece. So this group, they're kind of inactive right now. They started in 1990, went into 1992, and then kind of cut off there. 2016, they had written some new stuff. They had some one-off reunions in 03, 09, 2011, 2014, 2015, and 2019. So it's kind of an off and on group. They don't new out right now. I'm trying to think of a song that I heard the other day on the radio. What was it? But they have songs such as Hunger Strike. I heard. I'm not mistaken. There's one called Times of Trouble. There's Reach Down, All Night Thing. There's a whole bunch of songs here. I think I've heard Temple of the Dog's Hunger Strike. I think that's the song I heard on the radio, and that's kind of what got me into them. But yeah, this is another group that I kind of need to do more research on and listen to them more, but they're definitely considered a 90s grunge group, considering they're a super group. So let's switch gears here. Let's go to Alice in Chains. Now, this is another group I just found this year, during the start of this year. For a while, that's all I was listening to was Alice in Chains. Lane Staley, I think his name's Lane Stanley or something like that. I can never pronounce his last name right. I apologize. Let's call him Lane. So Lane, unfortunately, died back in April, I believe it was 02, he had died. He had a really serious addiction problem. Yeah, April 5th, 2002, he had passed away. And the way that they discovered his body, it just gives me chills. I don't know if I want to get into it again because it's kind of a sensitive topic. The way that they had found him, he did not commit suicide. But yeah, it's maybe I'm not going to go into this because I don't want to trigger people. I know some people get really trigger sensitive, but yeah. So if you guys want to find out what happened to him, or if you guys even want to do an episode of just all about Alice in Chains, we could probably we could do a separate episode just about Alice in Chains if you want.
Yeah.
If that's okay with you, Dystro, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
But yeah,
That's fine.
so if you guys want to stick around, we will do an Alice in Chains episode soon. Because this group is huge to me. I love this group. I've only discovered them, I think in January or February. And ever since, I've just fallen in love. I've looked into the background of this group. I've looked into the background of the lead singer and stuff like that, his final days while he was alive. Now, this group formed, obviously, in the 90s, I believe. Let me see. Actually, correction, they formed in 87. But they are considered a 90s grunge group because they made a huge impact in the 90s. So again, it's another one of those founding fathers of grunge. Blah, blah, blah. What am I thinking? So, some hit songs, I guess I can mention, would be like The Rooster and Man in the Box. Like, that's obviously a banger. The song Wood is another good one that I'd recommend. Yeah. My favorite's The Rooster. That's my favorite one. Would you say?
I was like, yeah, Wood is a good one. Like, I got into them because of my aunt, to be honest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because like she introduced me to them, like early on, like when I was getting into like rock music and stuff.
Oh boy, you're cutting out. I think Daisha's got some weak internet or something because it's cutting out really bad. You're all good, I promise. But yeah, so Wood, Rooster, Man in the Box are kind of the three top tier songs by Alice.
Yeah.
All right, so let me see. What's another group that you did?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm still here.
If you're still there.
Here.
Oh, are you there? Yeah, what's another group that we should talk about? Just pick one.
Nirvana.
I think it's Nirvana. Okay. Yeah. Okay. This is a group that everybody should know by now. If you don't know Nirvana, have you lived? Obviously, you know the whole story with. Oh, what'd you say?
Have you been living under a rock?
Literally. So obviously everybody knows Nirvana, like Kurt Cobain, obviously like one of the greatest of all time, and Dave Grohl, one of the main founding members of Nirvana, who also later went on to form the Foo Fighters, which we have done an episode about the Foo Fighters. If you guys like to go check that out, we did that way back. Go check that out. Let's talk Foo Fighters. It's somewhere on the channel. So Nirvana, I had a phase where I did listen to them, but now I hear them on the radio like every day, and they're kind of overplayed now, in my opinion. Don't kill me for that. But still, one of the founding fathers of grunge. Obviously, Kurt Cobain's lead singer. They formed in '87, but obviously made a huge impact in the '90s until the death of Kurt Cobain, who had tragically, trigger warning, committed suicide. Again, a lot of these stars, these grunge rockers, are dying too soon. Whether it's from addiction or suicide or just something unexpected that nobody would even think about. Man, I haven't really looked into a lot of Nirvana stuff, which I really need to do. He also died on April 5th, but in 1994. Wow, that's weird. Because you've got Lane from Alice in Chains who died April 5th, 2002, and now you got Kurt Cobain who died April 5th, 1994. Jeez, it's like April 5th, like bad luck. Like, oh my lord. I guess so, yeah. So, hit song.
It smells like Teen Spirit, Something in the Way,
Come As You Are, Heart Shaped Box. Basically, that's pretty much it. In Bloom, Lithium. There's a lot of hit songs that Nirvana has had, and that's why they're so special. Again, they're one of the founding fathers of grunge, so it's kind of paved the way for a lot of these other rock groups that came after them. And yeah, go listen to them if you haven't. Which, if you haven't lived yet. I don't think. Are you breathing? Do you have a pulse? I don't know. You might want to check that. I'm gonna get this one. Where is it? Right here. So, Stone Temple Pilots. Now, this is another group like Temple the Dog that I have not looked into, but I have heard them on the radio quite a few times on show. I've listened to them for a little while on the radio. They have been a group since 1989 until they, had stopped in 03 and then came back in 08, and now I guess they're active again. So that's pretty dope. Apparently, I'm reading this right now. Apparently, 13 in May, former Linkin Park vocalist Chester Bennington had joined the group. I didn't know that. I'm fascinated by that right now. And he unfortunately left the band in November of 2015. I didn't know he was in Stone Temple Pilots. Oh my god. Now I want to go listen to some shit that he sang with them. That is so cool. You learn something new every day. Obviously, lead singer Scott Weiland was in the group. He's the founding father of this group. I'm trying to think, what are some hit songs by them? Do you know any by any chance, Dystro?
Yep, I do. One off the top of my head. Interstate Love Song.
Oh, yeah! Okay, maybe that's the one I always hear.
Like,
there's Plush. I don't know if you heard of Plush.
Not really. I haven't heard that one.
There's Plush, Vaseline. There's Creep. There's probably more. Like I know songs just by hearing them. I don't always know them by name. So,
right.
But the one that you mentioned, I've heard them say that was Interstate Love Song by Stone Temple Pilots on Show 97. So I always hear them say that. So that kind of rang a bell. But man, this is another group I need to look into. So I apologize if I'm very brief about this group. But yeah, if you guys have any songs, for us to listen to of any of these groups that you think that we may not have heard or that we skipped over in this episode, let us know in the comments. We could always use some new music. Dystro, your turn.
Yeah.
Pick a group. Pick a category.
Pick a category. I will take Smashing Pumpkins for 200, Marissa.
Oh, frick. This is another group that I need to do research on. I have heard of Smashing Pumpkins songs. Let me see here. The Smashing Pumpkins. Obviously, they formed in 1988. Composer Billy Corgan. They formed in Chicago. Wow. Okay, that's cool. Now, do you know anything about this group, Dystro? Because unfortunately, this is one that I haven't really looked into yet.
I don't really know much about them, but it's just that's just because I don't really do kind of research on them. But it's just like you had said, they formed in, is it 89, right? Or
88.
I was kind of close. I was close. But like you said, they formed in 88, and then they're still rocking to this day, but it's they're kind of I think on an off and on kind of basis, I guess.
Yeah, so they started in 88 and went to 2000. I guess something happened. They maybe split or took a break. Came back in 06, and now they're still active, which pretty fucking amazing considering how long they've been together. According to Wikipedia, they're not even. I guess we could consider them alt grunge because it says they're alt rock. I guess we consider them an alt grunge group. Like again, going back to the subgenres of grunge rock. But yeah, so Smashing Pumpkins. What are some hit songs by them that you can think of off the top of your head?
Oh, I know a few. 1979. Today. Um, oh, I think I can't remember like the actual name of the song, but I remember the lyric like, "Despite all my rage, I'm still just a man in a cage." Um,
This.
there's like there's "Despite all my rage, I'm still just a man in a cage."
Oh yeah,
And
Bullet with Butterfly Wings. Okay, I've heard of that one.
yeah, cause see, like I couldn't like remember the song name. Then I was like, I remember the lyrics, so I was like, well, maybe she'll get it. And then I know like 1979 today, like they were like all over the spectrum of like rock in like the mid like 2000s. Like they did like a song for like when the first Transformers movie had come out in like 06, 07. And it was called
Wow.
Doomsday Clock. So that's some like songs that I kind of know. So
I've heard of 1979. I've heard of the Bullet with Butterfly Wings. That one I've heard a lot on the radio. But the rest I kind of need to look into. So thank you for giving me some suggestions, Dystro. We have time for one more group. So, um, let's go with Collective Soul. Now, this one is kind of borderline grunge. They're considered alternative grunge based off of the research that I've found. Collective Soul is a group that I've listened to and heard on the radio for many years now. We're talking when I was still in high school. They formed in 1992. They are considered. Oh, okay. So apparently they're post grunge. Okay, well, another website I had looked at, they said they were alt grunge. So make up your fucking mind. Um, I love Collective Soul. They sing a song called "The World I Know," which is one I listen to quite a lot actually. I wonder if they're still active. Yeah, they're still active. It says they're still active to the present day. There's a song called "Shine," which I hear that song all the time. At first, I thought that song was Guns N' Roses, but it's not. I've been fooling myself the whole time. December, "The World I Know." There's a song called "Where the River Flows." That one sounds familiar. I feel like I might have heard that one. The song "Gel," which I think everybody has heard "Gel" at this point. If you haven't listened to it already, you need to go listen to it. Really good song. Um, but yeah, it's another group that I kind of grew up around. I've heard it on the radio a lot since I was a kid. Hence why I know the songs like "Gel" and "The World I Know," because those are like the songs that they always put on the radio. But yeah, I didn't know they were grunge. Like, I really, really didn't know. In my opinion, I classify them as alt grunge, not so much of a post grunge, because they do fit in the grunge category. It's just like they're one of the outsider groups, we'll call them. But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up for the grunge episode. What do you think? You think we're good?
yeah, I think we're good. I think we're solid.
So we hope you guys enjoyed this whole Let's Talk 90s Grunge Groups episode. I'm so happy we got to talk about this kind of music. I feel like grunge kind of goes unnoticed in certain aspects of this world because, you know, pop is like the mainstream. Pop's like taken over everything nowadays. Like rock is kind of like dying out. But the thing is, it's only dying out if you believe like that. Like if you have that kind of thought process. Like, how do I want to put this, Dystro? Help me. uh, like you always tell me, you're like, oh, you're not with that attitude. Like you gotta have like the right attitude to believe that rock is actually dying. Rock will never die, even if it's not mainstream. Die. There's going to be groups that come out, whether grunge makes a reappearance, which would be nice if grunge did do like a little resurgence. So, like I said, grunge totally goes unnoticed. In my opinion, nowadays, now that we're into 2022, it's not the 90s anymore. People are like, oh, you're just living in the old days. Stop being a boomer. No. I love grunge. I love rock. That's just how I am. I guess you can call me a metalhead if you want to talk about Slipknot. We can get into that in another episode too. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Now, I have no idea what we're doing this Thursday. I need to go look at my notes. So, this Thursday for the podcast, we are doing nostalgia days, snack days. Ooh, I'm gonna get hungry doing this episode. So basically, we're gonna talk about all sorts of snacks that we used to eat when we were kids. From lunchtime to being at home or outside in the summer or Christmas time. It's gonna be a good episode. I'm gonna get fat just like talking about all these snacks and foods. I'm getting fat just thinking about it. Oh man, that's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, that's gonna like bring back some like nostalgia, no pun intended, like some nostalgia memories of mine, because like I could just like think back to like when I used to eat like some of the snacks that we talked about. Oh god, I'm just gonna just make myself salivate just thinking about it.
Oh, I know. Oh man, it's gonna be great. Oh man, but yeah, if you guys are down with that, be sure to stick around this Thursday where we add another episode to the Nostalgia Days series where we talk about a whole bunch of snacks. And I think it's just gonna be us for this episode because I don't think I have anybody to come with us this time. But it's okay. We'll still have a lot of fun. So, if you guys stuck around to the very end, we greatly appreciate your support. Be sure to follow us on our social media accounts by clicking the link tree in the description below. It has everything you need to see, TikTok, freaking Twitter, Instagram, you name it, Reddit. So yeah, be sure to follow us on our social media to keep up with any updates about this channel. And be sure to go listen to Quick Escape by Pearl Jam, which is at the top right corner of if you guys are interested. Anyways, thank you guys for listening, and we'll catch you guys this Thursday for the next episode. Peace!
Peace.